Hello, my dear people. Now we're live, and I'm going to be having a class with two great students, Mickey and Mitch, and they're going to join us in a minute now. The last time we were talking about an incredible topic, which is society. Society. Well, society is a complex term, it's a complex topic for many reasons. One of the reasons is that it's very dynamic. Society is dynamic and you will see why. Chapter 6, Society. And the last time, Mickey had a very interesting definition, and so did Mitch. The definition was that it was a group of people with common interests, rules, beliefs, and values. And that some of the problems appear precisely because we had different values at times, and that meant that what you believe is good for something is bad for someone else. For example, why we need to understand society. And Mickey was saying that it helps us in the management of the natural and human resources that belong to the society and regulates the distribution of public facilities to the individuals of society. We also talked about the nature of society. We said that society is abstract, is an abstract concept. It changes, is dynamic, it's not always the same. Society is an organization of relationships. Well, to begin with, notice that the British write organization with S, whereas the Americans write it with Z. So there's a difference right there. And it's more than a group of people. And there is a typo here. It's GROUP, not GROPU. Well, that's probably my fault. I didn't check that. Well, we're waiting for Mickey to join us any minute now and Mitch. But, well, as a summary, the concept of society is complex. There is a formal definition here, which is a community or group of people having common traditions, institutions, and interests. Actually, the traditions create some type of bond among people because that gives a special bias towards the people, whether it be religious, sportive, maybe some type of artsy, some art craft, some party, some festivity, traditions. Uh, there is a traditional parade, military parades, parades for all kinds of events, and also the institutions. The institutions form another type of structure in which we can firmly believe, more or less believe, have second thoughts, or totally mistrust. Some institutions are credible, some others are hard to trust, but, anyways, they are part of our society. Um, well, let's see what Mickey says. Hello, Mickey. Hmm. Mickey's trying to connect, but he's having issues with the internet connection. But now he's connecting, I guess. So he's going to join us any minute now. And let's see what he says about society. Society, interesting, complex topic full of boundaries that vary in size, in scope, in everything. So, well, here is the concept for your discussion, right? Let me see. Someone is knocking the door. And so, well, society as a topic. And here we have Mickey. Here is Mickey. Mickey is joining us. Mickey, hello. How are you?
Hi, teacher. I'm great. Thank you much. And you?
Fine. Thank you very much. I just finished my class from nine. Actually, 9 to 12:30. 9 to 12:30,
Uh-huh.
and I started the I started the transmission with a few
Hmm.
comments, a summary about what society is. I mentioned what Mitch and you had said and stated. When you check the transmission, you're going to notice that I tried to summarize some of your comments, which were very, very interesting. And that we also answered these three questions, remember?
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
do you remember? Can you please summarize what we talked about with these three questions, Mickey, please, the last time that we were here?
Yes, teacher. The first question was, what is society? And we define society like a group of people uh, who lives there in a specific place and share traditions. Sometimes they share habits too. I say sometimes because obviously, like in everything, there are people that are gonna follow the rules or they're gonna follow the rules or not. So that's why I'm saying that sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Sometimes, sometimes,
yeah,
sometimes. The rules are
and
there for everyone, Mickey, but not all of
of
us
course,
follow them all the time, right? Sometimes say, I'm in a hurry. Geez, there's a traffic light. It's red, but I'm in a
yeah,
hurry. Nobody's around. Not even the officer. Will I pass or not? What
exactly.
are the what other dilemmas do we face in society other than passing or not a red traffic light at 1 o'clock coming back from a party? You need to I need to go to the restroom really quick, and it's nobody in the street. The traffic is red. The traffic light is red. Nobody's around. No cars. What do I do?
Yeah, unfortunately, there are like some things that sometimes we do, and I'm gonna admit it. Sometimes I did too. I did it too, but well, that's why the rules are created for something, and it's to maintain us in a good in a good place to live. I would say that's why there are rules, and obviously there are people that don't respect the rules. For example, there are people who drop uh, trash in the street, or how you say it, that pass the traffic lights when when it's in red. So I think that it's necessary to respect all those rules for the best of everything in like in society.
That is true. Very true. However, we also talked about the positive things in society, Mickey, remember? And you mentioned many things that societies have which are positive. Can you recall some of them, please?
All positive things who society brings to us.
Hmm.
Yeah, for example, that there are places to learn about art, or there are malls, there are technology. Well, in society, it must be a rule that there must be different kind of services like health service, like service, water service, all that stuff. Um, when we live in a society, in not in all the cases, unfortunately, but in the majority of cases, I hope so. There are those services for the accessibility to the people.
That's very true. We also made an exercise in which we said that I'd rather live in Irapuato than in the jungle. Well,
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm so sure about this comment, but let's suppose that I'm very convinced that I'd rather live in Irapuato than in the jungle. What other comments did we say? What other comments did we make using the expression "I rather"? Remember that we use that device, that grammar device, "I'd rather."
Yeah, yeah, of course. Uh, we use this grammar to express what we prefer instead of other thing. For example, I'd rather uh, live in a cluster than in a single street. Open street. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Yeah, because clusters are much safer, aren't they?
Hmm. Yeah. When you live in a cluster, in the majority of the clusters, I suppose that there must be like security or someone who is uh, who's checking the streets, who, yeah, taking care of the street in general.
Okay. What do you think of this comment? I'd rather go to the office than hunt a zebra to eat.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Um, Absolutely agree. Obviously, I'd rather go to the office than hunt a zebra to eat.
Yeah. So all in all, even if the society is difficult, is violent, is strange, is weird, maybe we think it's very unacceptable, we still are better than living in the jungle or in the forest, aren't we, Mickey?
Yeah, of course. Hmm. We have a lot of advantages when we live in a society instead of living in the jungle or in the desert or in whatever.
Yeah. Some of these advantages, could you name them, please?
Mm, well, starting that when we live in a society, we can chat with other people. We can learn of other people.
Hmm.
Um, like I say, that we have different types of services: health service, water service, like service, internet, Wi-Fi, um, education too. I think that it's so important that we have the accessibility to go to school or to go to a university.
Very true.
Um, I don't know. There are a lot of advantages, to be honest.
Almost everything is an advantage, right? Almost
Yeah.
everything. If you say, well, but the city is very violent. Well, yeah, but it's more. What is more likely? I think it
Hmm.
is more likely that we perish in a duel with a lion than we get reached by a lost bullet in a fight between cartels. All right, let's read this sentence and see what you think. Can you read it and discuss it, Mickey, please?
Yeah. It is more likely that we perish in a deal with a lion than we reached by a lost bullet in a fight between cartels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think?
uh, I agree. I think that obviously I hope that never happens, but I preferred lost bullet. Probably I wouldn't notice until I don't know. But instead, if a lion is I mean at well with a lion, obviously there must be so worst.
No chance, right?
There's no chance.
Yeah, let's draw lots, all right? Let's see what the odds are. The odds, the odds, there is the probability that we win. The odds to beat a lion in a fight are negligible. Whereas the odds to survive in a shooting in or let's say the odds not to be hit, not to be hit in a
Hmm.
random shooting between gangsters much higher.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. When you fight with with a lion, there's no chance.
No
There's no
chance.
possibility. But instead, I don't know. Let's suppose that one bullet hit me. If it's not in a
Critical
well,
organ.
yeah, exactly. We can go to the health service, like I said, and probably we could be better in probably not in days, but in a few months, or well, we can be recovering. But
Mhm.
instead, if we fight with a lion, there's no chance.
Yeah, exactly. So even with the negative aspects of society, it is much better to live in a society than to live in the jungle, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, very good. That's an important conclusion, actually.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now let's. Then we did some exercises. Uh, I think we responded to these three questions, didn't I?
Yes, sure.
And then we discussed about an interesting book written by George Orwell. What was about the book that we thought was interesting, Mickey? Remember?
Um, yes, sure. The book of 1884, 1984. It's a novel by written by George Orwell, and I think that it tells about of a government that is completely uh, totalitarian. How do you say that?
Totalitarian.
Totalitarian, yeah. And that Owen is looking to all the citizens and until try to spy their thoughts to keep the order, in the society. And then a group of people start to create like a rebellion versus the government.
Yeah. Now, is it not the duty of a government to maintain the society under control? Is it not something that you would desire to do as a government? What do you say?
Could you repeat teacher the question because I was moving my laptop and I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, the question is it
Mhm.
not the duty of the government to try to maintain control of the citizens and society?
Uh, well, I don't know if it is correct to say duty, but because we as citizens we have rights and we need to use it. And if the government tries to control the society, I think that all the rights then doesn't exist. Obviously, we have how do you say this?
Freedom of speech?
Yeah, exactly. And we need to complete that, but we have rights too, and we need to use it in the favor of society.
Yeah, but let me put this in terms of bands, Mickey. Let's put
Hmm.
this in terms of bands. And I'm
Hmm.
sure that you will understand because you, the same as Mitch, and you are very bright people. Let's see. Freedom of speech. You can have liberty, you can express your thoughts. On the one hand, let's say this is the upper limit or the lower limit, as you want to see it. And on the other hand, we should respect society. We should respect, all right, respect for the society, respect for society, for emblems, for the emblems is the national crest, the national flag, the
Yeah, of
national
course.
anthem,
Hmm.
the public figures.
Hmm.
So you can speak freely, but you cannot. I mean, we cannot just go to the street, to the newspapers, to the national TV and say the president is an asshole. Forgive my Spanish, forgive my French. We cannot offend people privately or openly, right? There is a limit to our freedom.
Yeah.
So what I mean is, yeah, we are free to speak, but not totally free. I mean, we also should have respect for the people, for the institutions, for the citizens in general. And this applies for every concept. What do you think of this idea of having a limit, upper and lower limits, Mickey?
Um, yes, teacher, like you said. Sorry, dear. Yes, teacher, like you said. Uh, it is necessary to use our freedom of speech, but there are always going to be the correct way to do it. We need to respect the society, we need to respect our emblems, because, well, thanks of those emblems and thanks of all the history behind us, is the consequences is the consequence that now we're here, uh, and I think that is necessary, and it is correct to use the freedom of speech, but in a correct way, with respect, without offense to someone specific or to a group of people. Just use the freedom of speech, but with respect. In few words, I would say that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And you can use this for almost every other concept making in society. You can say that you can use your freedom of movement. You can drive whatever you want at any time you want. Do whatever you want. Oh, here's Mitch. Let me welcome Mitch.
Yes,
Mitch
sure.
is joining us. Mitch, hello. How are you today?
Hi, teacher. You can hear me well? How are you?
Very well. Fantastic. Thank you very much. How about yourself?
Well, I'm just arrived from a little kind of adventure. Well, I was trying to go to the natation class of today, but something happened with the car. Then uh, it was canceled. Then we we go we going mm, to solve that thing, and now I'm here. But that's why I was late. Sorry, teacher.
Oh, don't worry. So you didn't get to swim then?
Hmm?
You didn't get to swim? You were unable to swim?
No, first of all, that I needed a kind of paper that was a requirement, but I forgot it. Then something happened with the car. Well, no, not something, just like an issue more than the thing fright, a frightness. But now everything is okay, fortunately.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Well, I was chatting with Mickey about, we were doing a summary of what we discussed the other day.
Oh
We talked,
yes. Mhm.
we talked about his concept or your concept of society, both Mickey's and your concept of society, the benefits, how do we define the society in which we live in. We also talked a little bit about this fantastic or interesting book, which is 1984 by George Orwell. And we were now just discussing the implications of control on the society, which is an interesting concept because, on the one hand, it is true that some totalitarian governments want to control the society, like the Chinese government, for example. Excuse me, at one time, the Russian government. And they did a good job because they kept the citizens under strict control. Some nations like Cuba are
Mhm.
under very strict control. Yeah, you would say that the citizens aren't free, that you can advocate for freedom. You can say, no, they are not free. Those are not free nations. Look at Mexico, we're much better. Well, I don't know if we are much better. We have a lot of violence now. We don't have a lot of civil rights. We were talking about freedom of speech. I don't know if we can speak so clearly and so confidently as other nations like European nations. So it's a controversial topic. But I was asking Nikki, and I like to ask you the same question, Mitch. Is it not the duty of countries, of the government, to maintain the nation under control? Nation under control. In other words, the last thing you want to have as a government is total anarchy. Don't you think, Mitch? What do you think?
I cannot guarantee if the nation is under control or what.
Well, is it not the duty of the government? If you are the government, what do you want to have? A nation under control or a nation in total anarchy?
Mm, under control, of course.
Right.
Um, Respecting their human values. I mean, human rights.
Respecting human rights, absolutely.
Mhm.
And which are these human rights? Which are they? Which are the human rights? Mich Miky. I'm not mocking the, the human rights, of course, they are there. But which are they? Which are the human rights?
Human rights. Um, One of them I remember that is justice,
Justice. Okay.
Have a name?
um, independence.
Independence. Having a name. What is that? What does the refer? What does that refer to, Mitch? Please.
Oh no, I think that it was of the children rights.
Okay. Well,
um,
No?
I'm not sure. I think it is, of course.
Equality.
Equality. You're talking gender equality or what kind of equality?
Equality in general.
In general.
But
Okay.
yes, it can apply to equality gender too.
Gender equality. Justice,
Mhm.
independence, gender equality. What other human rights we have?
Um, the right of speech, or how can I say it?
Okay. Oh, here's a list actually. Let me take a look. Uh, Human rights. Okay. Let's take a look. You said something, Mickey. I'm sorry. What did you say, please? Freedom of
Yes, sure.
speech.
Uh-huh.
Speech. What other human rights do we have?
Mm, could be dignity.
Dignity. Dignity.
Dignity. Yeah. Mm, peace.
Peace, of course. Peace.
Love. I think so.
Love, of course. Love. Right. Dignity, peace, love, freedom of speech, equality. All right, let me take a quick look. Do you have something to add, Mitch, to this list?
Hmm. Mm, right now, no, nothing come to my mind.
Okay, well, let's take a look then at a list here.
Mhm.
Who wants to read this, please? Human rights include
Me. Human rights include the right to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and education, and many more. Everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination.
very good. Okay, then apparently there are seven principles of human rights. Let's take a quick look at it, please. Um, all right, you want to read this, Mickey, please?
Yes, sure. What are the seven basic principles of human rights? Dignity. Dignity is our inherent value because we are human. Non-discrimination. Discrimination is treating people differently with the intention or result of denying. Equality. Equality is the full participation and inclusion of everyone, including older people. Autonomy, accountability, participation, and proportionality.
Okay. Well, some of these are accountability. You're accountable. Yeah. If you're responsible, you do something right or you do something wrong, you are accountable for that. It's not you cannot say, "Oh, I didn't know." That doesn't count. We are accountable since we are adults, since we have a reason to analyze, to think, to measure the consequences of doing right and wrong. Some of these are pretty difficult to define. For example, how do you define dignity? We know what it is, but how do you define it? What is dignity?
Dignity. mm,
Mm, dignity is like uh, the right that we like human has have of deserving respect.
Deserving respect. Wow, that sounds pretty close. I think that's a very good definition. How would you define dignity, Mitch?
Yes, I think the same. I never thought about it. I think it could apply not also for humans, also for animals, plants, green areas, things like that.
Right. Agreed. Let's see if there is a definition here in Mr. Google's page. What is the real meaning of dignity? Okay, it's got something here. Who can read this, please?
Literature,
All right, please.
the quality or state of being worthy, honored, or esteemed. Uh,
Okay.
high, high rank, office, or position.
Okay, you are worthy, honored, or esteemed. That's very similar to the word that you used, which was respect, right? Four types of dignity. Okay, this is more elaborate. You want to read this, Mitch, please, this paragraph?
Sure. Uh, what are the four types of dignity? I present four kinds of dignity and spell out. There are differences: the dignity of merit, the dignity of moral or existential stature, the dignity of identity, and the universal human dignity. Menschenwürde, Menschenwürde pertains to all the human beings to the same extent and cannot be lost as long as the person exists.
Well, it's still a bit vague to me. Let's see examples. All right, Mickey, can you read the nine examples that follow, please?
Yes, sure. Let's take a look at 9 examples, all of which derive from the dignity factors listed above. Let people choose their own clothing. Involve them in decisions relating to their care. Address the person properly. Make food look and taste nice. Respect personal space and positions. Handle hygiene activities sensitively.
Okay. I don't know what I did. Okay, let people choose their own clothing. Involve them in decisions. Uh, Address the person properly. Number four. And then we said five. What was five, please?
Mm, Respect personal space and positions. Handle hygiene activities sensitively. Promote social activities. Know how to detect pain. Have a friendly chat.
Okay, those are the nine ingredients for dignity. Well, this all
Yes.
looks very nice. What is your comment about those nine items that define dignity, Mickey, Mitch?
Mm, I remembered the one day I read. Uh, it was like a quote, and it was between the difference between respect and dignity, because sometimes we confuse both. And it says something like respect is earned and dignity is it's a given or something like that.
Okay,
Dignity is something that for that we have like a right, for the same for just being humans.
okay. Just for the fact that we
Just for the
are
fact, yeah.
beings. Absolutely agree. I totally agree. And that's a very nice way to explain it, to simplify it, Mickey. So dignity is granted. Just because you're part of society, you have a right to be involved in conversations. For example, there is a situation in one of the schools in which I work, and there is a group of what, 15, 20 people, 20 people, very nice. All the kids, they are in the range of 13 to 14 years old, right? But one of them, people don't want to join him in games. They don't want to join this kid. They want to segregate him. And I tell them, okay, make groups with this person. I says, no, no, I already have my group here. I already have my group. So this kid makes a group with them. He groups with him. He groups with these two guys here. So everyone makes a group, and nobody wants to be with this girl. And
Uh-huh.
then I tell this kid here, okay, you come to this room. No, 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 teacher, I don't want to be with her. I say, why not? No, they don't give a reason. They just don't like her. But of course, It is my duty as a teacher to make sure everyone is in a group for this exercise. I tell her, okay, you are going to choose any two people that you want in the classroom. Whoever you say, they will be in your group. I says, no, I
Okay.
want to work alone because she feels detached,
Rejected. Okay.
rejected. She feels rejected. Exactly, that's the word. So I noticed that there is something wrong. I tell the group, the whole group, okay, let's go out to the yard and we're gonna play a game. Okay, run around, run around, run around. We're gonna make groups of three. Okay, of course, they are running at random, so they make groups of three. They start making groups. This is one
Hmm.
group of three. This is another group of three. And there is another group of three here, right here, and there is a group of three here. One, two, and one here. This gets eliminated. Okay, you go out. He goes out because it's a group of three. And then I tell them again, okay, run around, run around, run around, run around. Make groups of four. So this person runs here, this person runs here, and this person runs here. Okay, the group of four is made, so they maintain the same status playing the game. Then I tell them make groups of six. So these two people come running, they run, they make groups of six, they join here. Okay, these two. Okay, I need to make groups of odd numbers, right? Then I tell them make groups of five. Okay, well this gets eliminated and this gets eliminated. So two people are out of the game, three people now. And we continue the game until there is only three people, right? Three people, like these three people here. And then they say, okay, run around, run around, run around, make groups of two. And these two people make a group, and this gets eliminated. Well, during this game, believe it or not, but this person had a lot of fun. She was being accepted. Actually, people were fighting together in the groups in seconds.
Yeah.
They, hey, join us. Yeah, because why? Because it's a game, right? So
Mhm.
it's very simple to be free when you're playing because nothing is at stake. And then we come back to the classroom. Okay, we finish the game, go back, and we come back to the classroom. And then I tell them, okay, now let's make a game. Yeah, yeah, let's play. And I say, make groups of three. And now it's very easy for this person to be accepted in the group.
Mm.
Now they make a group of three. And what is the game, teacher? I'll tell you in a moment, but it's just a game. We get together in groups of three. But now it's easy. And now they accept her. And now she feels happy, and you see her face is radiant. And she feels accepted now. And it was very, I would say, easy because you know the technique. But you change a very painful moment for a girl for a dramatically happy situation in which she's now being accepted. She can participate. Her opinion is valuable, etc. Well, if we took the care, the precaution, the if we made the analysis of these social situations and interactions and provided a solution, the world would be a much better place. Unfortunately, we don't always do these games. Sometimes what we do is, well, I don't want to go through the hell of making a game and reestablishing or inserting people in society. If they are neglected or, like Mickey says, rejected, why do I care?
Yeah.
Well, what is the problem with that attitude, Mickey, Mitch? If we don't care for the people who are rejected, like this person here, what is it? What is the risk?
Well, probably I could sound um, so extremist, but obviously we know about uh, cases where people who always been rejected to our society makes, you know, horrible things because,
Exactly.
well, uh, they never feel part of something, and that's a consequence. Obviously, I'm not saying that is correct or that is like a
Justified.
rule. Yeah, I'm not I'm not justifying, but it's something that happens, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very true. Very, very good comment. What do you think of this, Mitch?
Mm. Sorry, teacher. I need more information.
Well, um, I was talking about an example of a situation in a class in which I had a person who was originally rejected, and then I made a game outside in which we made groups of three, groups of four, groups of five. The person who didn't belong to that group was eliminated, and there had always to be groups of two, three, four, or five people, and eventually, if you were not in the trio or in the duet, you were out. Then we came back to the classroom and we did the same game. Which I said, make groups of three, and this one time, this person was accepted in the group. This person was accepted in the group. They made a group of three, and she was in. She didn't feel rejected, she felt accepted. I mentioned that this is not the case all the time in society because a classroom is a reflection, a small sample of society. This time the person was accepted, but I was telling that is not always the case. Sometimes we say, well, this person is rejected, I don't care, let it be. And then Mickey says that when people are rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected, they can go through such a painful life that eventually they can become bad people in society. They can become thieves, fraudulent people, stealers, thieves, killers, kidnappers, rapists. And so the society suffers for that. So what I was asking is what you thought of the situation is, can we just ignore the rejected people? Can we go about life ignoring that there are people who are rejected in society? What do you think, Mitch?
Mm, I understand, but could you repeat the last question, please?
Yeah. Can we go about society? Can we live ignoring the people who are neglected? Can we live in society with no risk, simply ignoring that there are people who are not accepted or who are being rejected in society? In other words, do you think we should do something with the people who are rejected, or is somebody else's duty or responsibility, or is there something positive we can do about those people who are not totally adapted or accepted in society?
Mm, well, I think independence, if the people are with another capacities, or independent if it is another race or religion or sexuality, I think, well, on the end of the cases, on the end of that, we all are humans. And well, I think we, with the only value of sympathy, why don't you going to treat another human good? It's someone like you. Why, if they're are normal person, normal citizens, why you do going to reject them? I mean, uh, they don't are, if they are not annoying you in the case that they are telling you bad things or doing bad things to your stuff. Uh, where is the point? Everyone are human.
Yeah, excellent. That's a very nice and humorous comment. Very nice comment, and absolutely true. So this is exactly what Mickey and you were saying. You said that um, everyone deserves to be accepted in society. For example, we have this suggestion: promote social activities. Can somebody read this number seven, please? Which says promote social activities.
Me.
Okay.
Um, Promote social activities. Being in a care home can leave a person feeling shut off from the outside world, particularly for those who have an extroverted personality. This can be extremely stifling and damaging to their identity and dignity. They might end up feeling like they are simply a task for caregivers to complete, like a burden.
Yes. And then the next paragraph, please. Having a social life.
Uh, Having a social life um, instills them. What means it instill?
In gives them a sense of purpose
Okay.
or
Instills
inject.
them with a sense of purpose and satisfaction, thus improving their quality of life. So you should take it upon yourself to create opportunities for people in your care to engage in social activities, whether it be inside or outside the premises, contact with family, eating out with friends, or getting involved in local groups. We are a good example. We are all good examples. Also, encourage them to adopt hobbies and provide them with the means and equipment to do so, such as kitting or art supplies.
Very nice. Okay, that's very nice. And how about the last one, Mickey, please? Can you read the last one and then we discuss it, please?
Microphone on off.
Oh, sorry, teacher, I had the microphone off.
Okay, no problem.
Have a friendly chat. Your life as a caregiver probably feels very hectic, especially if you have to run back and forth between several people a day. But for a person in care, it could be a quite boring core, uh, uneventful.
Uneventful, yes.
You likely talk to dozens of people throughout the day, including other caregivers and service users. But depending on their circumstances, many residents in the care home might only talk to one person a day. You. A 5 or 10-minute chat will fulfill their craving for social interaction and lift their spirits. Let them leave the conversation if they want to, but don't just nod along until you have an opportunity to leave. Really listen and interact with them. Show interest in what they have to share. When you have to move on, let them know politely and reassure them that you'll continue the chat next time. And be sure to do so. To do so.
All right. Well, this topic of dignity is incredibly interesting, incredibly nice
Yeah.
once it is explained, right?
Mhm.
And the same goes for all the other topics which you mentioned, which I like very much. You talked about justice, independence, equality, or even gender equality, from speech, peace, and love as the aspects that we consider human rights. Because Mitch mentioned that it was important, and you mentioned too that it was important to have human rights, and that we don't want the government to violate our human rights, that those are given.
Mhm.
However, the issue persists, which is governments want to have the citizens under control because it's part of their duty, but you want to give them freedom once the nation is mature. So, a question for both of you, Mitch and Mickey. When do we know the nation is mature to have more freedom? It's like in a family or in a class. When do we know that the society is mature to have some freedom? In other words, um, societies are very different. Why is it easier to talk in the US than in Mexico, for example? If we think that is the case, why is it easier for them to talk? Do you think that has something to do with the responsibility? Do you think if a society is more respectful to the law, to the rules, to the regulations, they have more range, have more freedom, or is independent? What do you think, Mitch? In other words, the more mature the society, the more freedom to act. You think is the case, or is not the case, or we should give the same freedom to everyone, regardless of their degree of responsibility.
Mm, well, it's a difficult question, but of course, mm, obviously you're gonna give like more, probably not more freedom. No, what could be the word? But more accessibility to share their thoughts, to share their, to use their freedom of speech. When you respect, obviously there are countries that they do different types of, how do you say, marchas, teacher, or, well, I don't know, yeah, marchas,
Demonstrations,
demonstrations, okay,
yeah,
yeah,
demonstrations.
they do different types of demonstrations where they respect everything. They respect the streets. They don't, uh,
Vandalize.
yeah, they don't vandalize, exactly. So I think that is necessary to use our freedom of speech, but in a correct way. And when we do that, instead of uh, disobey the rules, disobey the laws, probably we could have more, not more freedom, but more accessibility to share our thoughts in a good way.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Mitch. Which countries do you think have more freedom of speech?
Which what?
Which countries, which nations
Countries.
do you think have more freedom
Countries.
of speech? Yes, maybe we can Google. We can maybe share. We can Google freedom of speech per country.
Mm.
Freedom of speech per country. Let's see. Freedom of expression, they call it, per country. Uh, let's see. Let's see what it says.
Countries. There's a list
Is there a
in,
list?
yeah,
Can you share,
the, yeah, I can share the screen.
please?
Hmm.
Thank you very much.
It's here.
Okay,
Can you see it?
here is. Yeah, yeah. Share that. Ah,
Mm,
okay. And they have
um,
colors, right?
yeah,
Okay. Can you interpret it, Mickey, please?
yes, sure. Well, I can notice that the colors start from a light yellow until it's like blue ocean, but blue navy. I don't
Dark,
know,
dark blue, dark blue.
dark blue. Yeah, and I understand that if the color is lighter, is more near to yellow. I think that those countries doesn't have the best freedom of speech. But
Yeah.
instead, if it's in a darker blue, they have more freedom of expression. For example, I think that this country is China, right?
Yeah, that is China.
And it's around in with this chart. Well, using this chart is 0.2, I think so.
Yes.
But on the other hand, for example, here is Australia, and is I think that is the most blue color. I think so.
It looks point 0.9.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's point is 1 or point 0.9.
probably
Can be.
point nine. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe Canada and England are 1.
Hmm.
The US is slightly lighter, like point 0.8.
Point 0.8, point 0.7.
Mexico is point 0.7.
Mexico is, I think, point six.
Point six.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's point six. Yeah, that's true. Do you think there is more freedom of speech in Argentina, in Peru, and above? I think it's Ecuador, Chile.
Um,
Are freer countries. It's easier to talk in Argentina than it is in Mexico. Well, that's amazing. It's surprising, not amazing. It's surprising.
well, but I'm noticed that this score is of 2020. I don't know if now in 2023 it is the same because I think that in like in Peru and Argentina they are having problems related to that, right?
Well, apparently, but even 2022 is more or less recent. It's 2, 3 years ago, 2, 3 years old.
Yeah.
What do you think of this map, Mitch?
Well, I didn't know about this. I thought more countries were to have more of the very low level, but so I surprised to see that the most of them have a very uh, a level high of free speech. I thought that Russia want to have less like America, and all Europe. I see. Hmm. Well, this is something nice. I think
Russia
it's more
has
than I thought.
actually Russia has less freedom of expression than America. I think that Russia
Yes.
is around 0.3, 0.4.
0.3.
0.3, whereas the US is point 0.8,
8.
point 0.8 or
Mm-hmm.
something, point 0.8, I think. Yeah,
8.
Mexico
7.
less, Brazil obviously less, all the African
This one is
countries.
Brazil, right?
That is Brazil, yeah,
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
just as much as Mexico, which is point 0.6, I think. But I'm
Yeah.
surprised that Argentina, Chile, Peru, and Ecuador have much higher freedom of speech than other countries.
Hmm.
Yes. Something very weird.
Right.
I
Well, there.
noticed that
Yes,
this is uh, how do you say it, like this sound t-shirt?
that is Asia.
Asia in general, right?
Asia in general has not a lot of freedom of speech. Apparently, you have China, India, you have Japan is darker. That is Japan. Yeah, that is Japan. That
South
is Japan.
Korea and North Korea.
Mhm.
I thought they were an island, but then no, those are Korea and North Korea.
I think so. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
probably because you know that in North Korea there are more. Uh, how can I say? There are more forbidden things than in South Korea.
Yeah, it's a very censored country. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
that is true.
censorship. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's impressive. Which is the country above Russia and above China? Which is that? Is that? I don't think it is the Ukraine. Is which is
Yes,
that?
this one is North Korea and South Korea. I
South
checked.
Korea. All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Very good. And towards the left, what is the country? Towards the northwest of China,
this
that
one,
is the Ukraine, right? No, the one on the left. Exactly that on the left. That
this
one.
one.
That is the Ukraine, right?
Ukraine, I think so.
Ukraine. Okay. Well, it's incredible, but that's how it is, and the source seems to be very good. Well, freedom of speech is. Thank you very much, Mickey.
That's true.
Freedom of speech is a concept that we see everywhere in the world, and it's under constant debate. And we can always debate about this, but it's a good thing that we talk about that.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah,
Very
it's
nice.
interesting.
Very interesting, absolutely. Mitch, Mickey, I'd like to ask a favor of you guys, please. I'm planning to go to Guanajuato tonight, and I might go out. So, do you think we could have the class like 9 or 10 tomorrow in the morning, or you have something to do? I could make an effort to wake up early, anyways, and then go back to bed. But if you
Yeah,
think we can have the class like at 8, On 8 or no? I'm sorry, like at 9 would be great.
at 9.
Yes,
What do you think?
that's good.
Yes, sure. Well, the only thing that we do on Sunday in the morning is go for breakfast, or you know,
In a
it's the only
restaurant.
day that we are all together.
Oh, that's
The
very
only
nice.
complete day.
And
So,
you normally go
but
like what, 9 or 10? What do you normally go?
Uh, nine,
depending,
around 9.5.
yeah, depending. Sometimes my dad likes to go to Con Sabor a Café,
Oh, that's
and
a
you know
nice
that
place.
there's a big line, and you must be
That's true.
early because if not, you're not gonna have your
Yes.
table. But I don't think so. So if we start at 9, it's good to sure. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, well, thank you very much. That'll be great. So, well, then see you tomorrow at 9.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch, Mickey, all right.
Yes.
Yes, teacher. Take care.
Thank you very much. It's a good shot. You
Take
guys
care.
take
Enjoy
care.
Thank
your
you.
See
Thank
weekend.
you for your time in
you.
the class.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Mickey. Take care and see
Take
you
care,
tomorrow
teacher.
then.